alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. We have now reached the 27th juz of the Quran. And in this, as you can see on your screen, we have Surah Al-Dhariyat, which is remaining from the 26th juz. So part of Surah Al-Dhariyat is in the 26th and also the 27th. Surah Tur, Najm, Qamar, Rahman, and also Waqi and Hadid. Right, so the remaining part of Surah Ad-Dariyat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about some of the perished nations in verse 31 to 46, where Ibrahim alayhi salam asked the angels about their visit. They said, to destroy Lut's people. We saved one believing household and destroyed the transgressors. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us how Pharaoh and his people were drowned, and we destroyed Ad with a wind. Likewise, Thamud and Nuh's people, alayhi salam, were punished. Then in the remaining part, which is 47 to 60, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us why we were created. He tells us we created the sky to spread the earth, we smoothed them both, we created everything in pairs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to race towards him, that he is and that he is a warner. Do not make partners with Allah, and that we created jinn and men only to worship Allah, and we do not ask them of sustenance, but rather we provide for them, and the transgressors should not forget that they are next in line. Don't hasten, the deniers will be destroyed. We come then to Surah At-Tur, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the first 28 verses the concept of reward and punishment. He swears by Mount Tur, the heavenly book, Bayt al-Ma'mur, which is a house above the Kaaba. And the punishment of the disbelievers is coming, the day when the heavens will shake, mountains will float. Today they are engaged in vain arguments, but tomorrow they will be thrust into hell, and it will be said, this is the hell which you used to deny. The God-fearing will be in paradise, and it will be said, eat and drink to your heart's content. Then they will be united with their righteous descendants, and the people of paradise will say to one another, we used to live in this world in fear of Allah. Today Allah has saved us from the wind of the hellfire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the next section, which is verse 29 to 49 of Surah Tur, tells us about how to carry on with the da'wah. He tells the Prophet, you are not a soothsayer, a madman, a poet. They say, we are waiting for misfortune to befall him. Say, wait, I am also waiting. And they say that the Prophet fabricated the Quran, then bring a text similar to it. Did they come into existence by, number one, themselves? Or did someone create them? أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Do they possess the treasures of mercy, or listen to what happens in the heavens? Do they have sons and we have daughters? Do they know the unseen? Is there a God besides Allah? Even if fragments from the sky fell upon them, they would not believe. Leave them in their state till the day when people will be unconscious. Be patient, and you are under our watch. Praise be to Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then goes on to discuss in Surah An-Najm how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not astray, he's not deluded, he's not speaks of his desire, it is only revelation that is taught, that is brought down to him from a powerful angel. He was on a higher horizon, came closer until he was 2 bows length away or less than that. Then Allah revealed to his slave what he willed. And he saw him near Sidratul Muntaha, a heavenly lote tree. And the religion of the Mushrikeen is based on complete conjecture, and you have taken the Lat, Al-Nat, Uzza as deities, and you consider the angels the daughters of God, but you find it a disgrace to have daughters yourself. In 26 to 32 of Surah An-Najm, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that you assume your deities can intercede. Even all the angels cannot make Allah agree to something. Allah is aware of who is on the straight path and who is astray. To Allah belongs the heavens and the earth, and He will establish the day of judgment so that every good and bad person gets what they're deserving. Good are the ones who avoid the great sins and they stay away from the immoral acts. In 33 to 62, Allah tells us to look at those who do not spend in Allah's way. In the teachings of Ibrahim and Musa alayhi salam, we learn that no one will bear the burden of another, and every person will get what they strive for. Happiness, grief, death, life, sustenance, offspring, wealth, poverty, everything is in the hands of Allah. Allah is the Lord of this Sirius, which is a star the pagans would worship. Mushrikeen, the people of Nuh, Ad, and Thamud, and Lut, were indulged in the same sins as you. What was their result? So therefore, take lessons and draw, and do not invite the wrath of Allah. The Prophet is a warner, like the previous ones. The hour is drawing nearer, and no one can avert it except Allah. Do not scorn His word. It is not a time of joy, but a time to weep. Prostrate before Allah and spend time in worshipping Him. And in actual fact, Surah Al-Najm ends with a sajda, or a prostration. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Qamar that Prophet, do not worry in verse 1 to 22 about Nuh and Ad. Prophet, do not worry about their demands of punishment. They follow their desires. There were enough lessons from the perished nations. They will not heed your call, but their call is towards the call of the hellfire. They will rise from the graves like scattered locusts. Nuh alayhi salam's people are also denied, and they call their prophet a madman. And Nuh alayhi salam, he has supplicated, Allah, I am overwhelmed, help me. So we opened the sky and the earth and boarded Nuh on the ark that sailed under our supervision. The rest were drowned. This is a sign. And is there anyone who will take heed? Ad also did not obey Hud. Ad were a people, and they did not obey their prophet Hud. So we sent a wind to them, which tore them like palm trees uprooted. How easy is the Quran to derive lessons from? Is there anyone who will take heed? وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. And then in 23 to 40, Allah tells us about Thamud and Lut. Thamud did not obey Salih. These people did not obey Salih. They said, what does he have? Made him a prophet. He was given the miracles of the she-camel. A wretched man killed her. A blast seized them, and they became like trampled twigs. Surely the Quran is easy to derive lessons from. And then is there anyone who will take heed? وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Then Lut alayhi salam's people we're told about his people and how it rained with stones upon them. Even though that they were shown the signs, the punishment came and they were destroyed forever. And the Quran is an easy reminder. Will they not take a lesson from, or take heed from it? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the last part of that surah about Pharaoh and the hereafter. Pharaoh's people denied all of our signs. So we seized them in a way that no one was able to escape. The Prophet is being addressed and is being told that the mushrikeen, that their time will also come, and they are deluded in assuming that they are strong, but soon their armies should be routed and they will flee. Is there anyone who will take heed from the Quran? And the Quran is full of these lessons. Then we come to the second half of the juz, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about Surah Al-Rahman. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Rahman verse 1 to 25 about Allah's blessings, that the most merciful, He taught the Quran, He created man, adorning him with speech. The sun, the moon, the stars, trees are all subjected to His command. He established the heavens with balance, so establish justice in every matter. He spread out the land, produced fruits, dates, grain from it. Then which of your Lord's blessings will you deny? He created man from clay and the jinns from fire, and the jinns and the mankind. Which of your Lord's blessings will you deny? فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. He is the Lord of the East and the West. He unleashed the two seas where with a barrier between them. From them comes pearls and corals, and the ships that sail in the sea like mountains are under His authority, the jinn and mankind. Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this over and over again. Then Allah tells us in 26 to 45, everything will perish. Everything is perishable except Allah. Allah in the heavens and the earth seek their needs from him, then which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? Soon you will be called to account, jinn and mankind. If you have the power to go beyond the heavens and the earth, then go, but you will not be able to. Which of the favors would you deny of your Lord? The flames of fire, brass will be unleashed on you, unable to withstand it. What will happen when the sky will split asunder? That day the culprit shall be recognized by their faces. This is the hellfire that you denied. They will keep circling between hellfire and the boiling water. Then which of your Lord's favor will you deny? And in 46 to 478, Allah tells us about the rewards of paradise. That whoever fears the standing before his Lord will have two gardens, both have two flowing springs, a pair of every fruit. They'll recline on couches, enjoying fruit. They will have maidens with restrained glances, whom no man jinn has ever touched. Beautiful rubies and pearls. And what can be the reward of goodness other than goodness? Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? There will be two more gardens, which will have two springs. There will be fruits, dates, pomegranates, beautiful halls sheltered in tents, who have never been touched, and they will be they shall be reclining on green cushions and splendid carpets. Which of your favors will you deny? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about Surah Al-Waqiyah in verse 1 to 38, tells us about the saved group, that judgment day is bound to happen. That day people will be weighed on the scale, divided into three groups. One group will be given the scroll of deeds in their right hand, another in their left, and the third are special. These special people will be seated in front of one another, reclining on gold-crusted couches. Immortal youths will carry goblets of drinks that will not cloud their minds. They choose any fruit and meet their desire. Beautiful whores, or the women of paradise, will be like hidden pearls. All of this due to their good deeds. The people on the right will be seated on raised couches in the midst of trees, flowers, and shades, never-ending gushing water and fruits. Their spouses will be brought to them resurrected. In 39 to 74, Allah tells us about the people of the left. The people of the left will be in miserable state in the midst of scorching wind and boiling water, a shade of thick black smoke, which will neither be cooling nor soothing. They will fill their bellies with the tree of Zaqum, which is a drinking boiling water. We have created you so that would you not affirm it? Who has transformed a child from a drop? The seed that you sow, do you harvest them into the fields, or is it us? If we reduce them to rubble, you would be left devastated. Who brought down the water you drink? Then why don't you be grateful? The fire that you kindle, did you make it tree or did we grow it? We have made it a source of remembrance and provision for the travelers and the needy. And then in the final section of this surah, Allah tells us about those who affirm and deny the Quran, that the Quran is inscribed in the preserved tablet. None but the pure may touch it. Are you then heedless towards a book when the soul reaches the throat and is on the verge of death? If you have any power, then return the soul to life. The scroll given to the right hand will be welcomed by the angels, and if he is one of the deniers, then he will be thrust into the fire. This is indeed the absolute truth. The final surah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discusses, which is found in this verse, he tells us in Surah Hadid in the first 10 verses, the matter related to spending. That everything is glorifying Allah and inviting mankind to his worship. He is the mighty, wise, powerful, first and the last, manifest and hidden. He has power over everything. The day and the night is under his control. He sends rain, produces fruits and flowers. He is with you wherever you are. He knows the secrets of the hearts. People believe in Allah and the Messenger and spend from what he has given you. Allah has revealed the Quran upon his slave to bring you out from the darkness into light. Why do you not spend in the way Allah way of Allah when everything belongs to him? Those who spent before the Fath al-Makkah and the Mujahideen who accepted faith after can never be equal in status, but both will get a great reward. And then 11 to 19, Allah tells us about the status of those who spend, that whoever gives Allah a loan, He will pay it many times. The faith of the believers will illuminate before the munafiqeen, or the hypocrites will be devoid of any light on Judgment Day, because their false hopes kept them in delusion, and hell will be their abode. Has the time not come that the hearts of the believers should be humbled of Allah's remembrance, and not be like the people of the big book whose hearts hardened over with time? Those who give charity and those who give loan to Allah among believing men and women will be entitled for great rewards. The disbelievers who denied our signs will become the fuel of fire. And then in verse 20 to 25, we learn about the life of this world. The life of this world is mere play, diversion, an object of boasting with one another. In the hereafter, there is punishment as well as forgiveness. People race against one another in seeking forgiveness and paradise, but no misfortune befalls, but we have inscribed it in the book, and this is so you accept sadness and happiness. We sent messengers with clear signs, books, and the balance, so that people uphold justice. وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدَ فِيهِ بَأْسٌ شَدِيدٌ وَمَنَافِعَ لِلنَّاسِ. And we sent down iron, which is full of power and benefit for people, and it has been revealed so that Allah may know who helps Him and His messengers without even seeing Him. And the final part of the surah, 26 to 29, and the end part of this juz, Allah tells us how He gave Nuh and Ibrahim alayhi salam prophethood and blessings through their descendants, but many prophets followed them. Then Isa was raised, and he was tender and merciful towards the believers, and we did not prescribe monasticism for them. Believers fear Allah, believe in Allah's messenger. He will grant you double reward and light with His mercy. Allah, all bounty is in the hands of Allah, which He bestows on whoever He pleases, and He is a Lord of abounding bounty. So inshallah, tomorrow we'll be looking at the 28th chapter, and hope to see you then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.